We're good. We're on. It's too late,
We're
man.
on.
Jason wanted to pause this one, but no way, man. The Simps are coming at you nice and strong. And there he is, Mr. Jason Pizzino. All of his links, as always, are in the description below. Check him out on Twitter. He's very prolific there. I am not. I was actually thinking of trolling this crypto girl on Twitter yesterday because they put out one of these, like, you know, these pictures where it's just like, give me attention, basically, or give me engagement. And she said something like, it was like a picture of her looking really nice. She looks very, very nice. And it was like, caption this picture. And it's just a bunch of people saying like, it's the best shit ever. It's like, you look so good, babe. It's like, what the fuck? And I was thinking,
all your friends from Dubai. That's who it is.
And then I was thinking of sending her this fucking copy paste of hold on, let me bring it up over here. But I just can't bring myself to do it. I just can't bring myself to do it. But it was going to be something along the lines of,
do you want to be that person?
Dude, every once in a while, man, in the right mood, I'm like, man, I can't hold this one in. I can't hold this one in. Anyways, it starts like this. Awesome pics. Great size. Looking thick, solid, and tight. Keep us all posted up on your continued progress with any new progress pics or video clips. Show us what you got, woman. Want to see how freaking huge, solid, and thick you can get. Thanks for the motivation.
God, that's enough. What were you going to write?
I was going to just copy and paste that onto her picture and just be like, there you go. Here you go. Yeah, man, that's the problem with Twitter recommending a bunch of bullshit is that, they think you're interested in Bitcoin and then they start promoting you Bitcoin influencers. And it's like, what? Yeah. I'm not interested in your pictures. I'm interested in like an idea that you might have. Perhaps if I'm looking for pictures, we have the greatest porn apparatus in the human history at my fingertips on Pornhub. So I'm not quite interested in getting this off of Twitter, although you should know, or maybe you know this, I don't know. But Twitter, like, porn is completely okay there. Girls are, world. Yeah, it's so strange, man. So they will ban you for, having, out of left field sort of political opinions, but girls just shoving all sorts of odd jokes, man, which I've seen that on Twitter I guess it's okay. So, hey, fair enough, man. I guess it's their business. And
did my microphone just get a little better?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a little more clear there.
Amazing. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, there we go. Should have announced that this is episode number 18 of the Crypto Simps, which is, dude, we've been at this for more than 4 months now.
4.5 months. And people are still watching. Thank you so much to all the viewers, all of our regular viewers joining us along this journey during the bear markets. Basically entertainment for us to talk about all sorts of fucking random shit.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, these times are honestly the most important times to be, at least in my opinion, just because, the major highs and the major lows are typically put in during these times. But the problem is
Krown's about to say something profound. So brace yourself.
Well, I mean, that's basically it, man. Just the most important price action happens there. Like if you're looking for the maximum financial opportunity, it always happens during these times. You can look at every one of the macro lows. Volatility gets crushed to the fucking ground. Everyone gets bored. No one's watching. And, I always say this, but we as content creators do have a bit of an extra edge in that facet because we can directly see the views, which correlates incredibly well to the market cycle. When my views were making all-time highs, Bitcoin was as well. When they started downtrending, which actually happened a little bit before Bitcoin, so did Bitcoin as well. Which is I don't know, something that maybe I should start putting out my own view charts on.
You get the views when it has those big crash days.
That actually does help as well.
What's going on? Yeah,
right.
But then it's just like, just look at the Bitcoin chart. You get a bar, or you use candles, but I love my bars. An inside day, so a bar that has a lower high and a higher low, there's like no one's watching at all.
Yeah,
it's so typical to the action
quiet
of
times.
the day. Yeah,
right.
What were you watching in 2018 when the market was basically dead?
I was making videos during that time, dude. I was making YouTube videos and I was trading the market at like probably the most active that I've ever been during that time. That was actually probably I think that was maybe my best year. That in 2019 were my best years ever trading. And it was perfect for me because at that time I was just learning that you could find Bitcoin options, and I found out about Deribit and everything. And they were so new that none of the liquidity providers, none of the market makers knew how to really price them. So you could just pick things off at like, not fair value, but very fair to you. And it just made for a really advantageous environment. It's less so nowadays. But it's still pretty sparse there. But during those times, I had no problem with that because with options, when things are slow, you can make money just from things ranging. You can make money from things, not really going anywhere. That's the whole point of them. And so that
has obviously been a good time for you the last couple of months. We haven't gone anywhere between like 34 and 44.
Right. Yeah. The problem is now I can't trade options in the way that I want to with Deribit because they kicked off all the Americans. What I can do though is you can go on to like DeFi options, and you can basically sell calls and puts that way, but you can't choose a strike. So it's a little bit of a give and go with that. And you also can't buy options in that way, but you can kind of make it work if you really want to. You can obviously do like strangles with them and cover them if you need to. But that's probably getting out of the scope of this conversation. I don't want to bore you with it. Yeah.
But you weren't watching anyone else back then that's still around now?
Yeah. So at that time, it was a different scene. Remember, you were around during that time. I know that you were. Coin Mastery was the big guy on the YouTubes at that point, I believe, and Data Dash were the two. They were very, very popular. And Hagen Lee, this guy who just could find a fucking inverted head and shoulders in every goddamn formation. It was a different crowd.
Was like the original Crypto type. But I think instead of doing Bybit stuff, he just sold a course over and over.
Yeah. And he didn't have like the marketing or anything like that. And ever since then, things have really changed. Things have really changed because the space, as far as like content creation, has evolved into a much more professional space. You can't get away with not having like a good thumbnail, for example. You can't get away with not doing your SEO for your videos and whatnot. Back then, you could just put out a video and it would kind of just be there on its own merits, basically. Shit, man. Like I look at my titles from back then, and all my titles were just like troll titles. like whenever Bitcoin was super bearish,
triggered.
No, well, some people would, but I guess they just didn't. I wasn't popular to comment on, so I wouldn't really see it. But every once in a while, I'd get some quite lengthy messages that were. It's like, all right. I see what you're getting at there, man. But yeah, it's just different spheres. So nowadays, the whole thing is just completely evolved. I would argue, is it for better? Is it for worse? I don't know, but it is what it is, and you either have to play that game or you're probably not going to survive.
It's far more noisy, obviously.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who know how to get attention, but they might not necessarily have the content. So I feel like because crypto has become so popular, you've gotten people who know how to do YouTube, but maybe they're not like a trader, they're not an investor, whatever it might be, but they really know how to do YouTube, and so they're the ones who get the attention.
We come back to this topic every week.
Yeah.
Every week.
It is interesting.
Names. I can hear the people at the other end. Names.
Problem is. A lot of the people that actually are quite popular, I think the average person tuning into content like this, they actually might not even be aware of these people. I know that I wasn't until a few months ago. I made like a really big effort to go and search out, who is everyone listening to, and it was names that I never really heard before. Some of them you told me actually. There was Brian, I think he was Brian.
Don't name names.
Well, no, I'm not saying anything bad about him. Just he's like a YouTuber, right? He's like a YouTuber.
Total YouTuber, yeah.
YouTuber. Right. And there's definitely been a few other ones other than that. I won't name names because maybe they're close or not to you. But yeah, it's you can't really say that it's good or bad. It is the way that it is. So you have to play the game or you don't, and let the chips fall where they may.
Look out for. It's just like look out for what YouTubers would be producing and why. It's the stuff. I had a comment actually. I had Michael on my channel yesterday, my brother. And
okay, sweet. Yeah.
Someone,
He's amazing, man.
Comments. Yeah, because his analysis is great. He's a trader, doesn't do options, but it's leverage trading. That's all he trades. He's been doing it for a decade. But it's like what to look out for when you actually have a real trader. Often they can be pretty boring. It's pretty dry because it's all just like data driven, and they just want results. And so you're not going to get this huge like, guys, here are all the problems. Let's solve them with these questions. I'll take you through a journey and a storytelling in this video. Like, these YouTubers don't say that, but they just put this whole excitement into the video, and it just strings you along. And before you know it, it's 10 or 15 minutes gone, and you're like, damn, what did I learn about that? If you really think about it, you didn't really learn anything, but your emotions were excited, and it felt like it was a good use of time. So
that is a perfect way of putting it. Is you go on this emotional ride with them, and the people who really know how to do it well, they know how to take you through the highs and the lows and give you like a bouquet of emotions. It's not just like all positive, but they know how to like spread it around. It's actually really masterful. I've actually gained quite a bit of maybe not appreciation, but respect for them, because it is a skill, obviously.
I'll say respect and appreciation for it, because the storytelling is a skill.
Oh, yes, totally a skill, man. Totally.
If you can put the two together, you do it quite well, where you can teach and do a bit of a story. You're going to learn more that way. Like, obviously, I know I learn more that way as well. When you're taken through something,
more engaging.
like, oh yeah, exactly, because you can remember it then. But someone that's super dry, it's a bit harder to remember, but you just have to keep doing it over and over and over again, watching that stuff. And others who are just storytelling and there's not much behind it, well, then you're just there for entertainment rather than educational, making money. So, I guess you just got to pick your poison.
Yeah, that's always the sort of conundrum I get into when I'm kind of viewing social media just in general. It's like, okay, like some of the things that I watch on YouTube are so fucking valuable. They've changed my life. They've been amazing, educational, and really, really gave me something that I look very fondly upon. The problem is that the divide where that turns into, oh shit, I'm just consuming content for the purpose of consuming content because it's kind of fun and entertaining. Like, that line gets blurred real fucking fast, man. And I know for myself that I can get lost in those holes very fucking easily, man. So I've just resolved to not even really fuck with any other social medias like TikTok, man. I do not. I can't, man. I can't. I'm going to get stuck in there. I know myself. And it's this, dude, I found out a really crazy thing about TikTok recently, just on that topic. TikTok, I'm sure you know what it is, right?
The algorithm?
TikTok, it's just like a social media thing. They got short videos, like a minute or so long. And
the way it's designed.
Right. Yeah. And so in Western countries, like the US, like here in Finland, and I'm sure in Australia as well, when you go to your TikTok, yes.
I'm just getting out my tinfoil hat. 1 second.
Ready. Okay. All right. There you go. We're ready to have this discussion now. So in Western countries, when you go to like your main page on TikTok, it's mostly like, funny pranks and basically like the epitome of entertainment. It is very entertaining. No fucking doubt about that. They do a phenomenal job of that. And, but it is just, basically garbage. It's not giving you much. If you go to it in China, however, TikTok is obviously a Chinese company, and it is said that they have, they're basically owned by the CCP. In China, not only are kids who have TikTok on their phone, not only they're not allowed to like use it during the nighttime hours because they want them probably like sleeping and doing productive shit, but they also have it's a completely different feed actually for them. They're being shown on their front pages like scientific achievements, people doing amazing athletic things, people doing really impressive stuff to get them pumped up and try to, probably replicate it.
Can anyone verify this? Because I've heard this before. Yeah, maybe it was from you or someone else, but
no, I've not spoken about it. I just found about this recently, man. So yeah, if you do have experience with that, I'd love to hear if that's verified. But from what I understand, that's kind of like common-ish knowledge, if you will. Just waiting for my damn video over here to process. What's going on over there?
Common knowledge.
Weird.
I didn't know anything about that being common knowledge from TikTok, but I have heard it before.
Hey, speaking of, man, we haven't even really spoken about price action today. Do you have any thoughts on that? Bitcoin kind of just traded around.
We got to my party zone. We broke 42,600. That was a lot of minor highs. Got to 3,000. Man, if I haven't checked it lately, my apologies, but it dumped all the way back down to 42. So it got to 43, 43 and a half, and then came back under those resistance levels. And I don't know if it's gone back above at this point.
Oh, dude, that was just another higher low, man. It's 42.6 right now.
Back to that level. That's the level we want.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, Caderpio is nearly at $1 again.
Wow, powerful, man. Wow, amazing. Still, I'm almost at break even. It is almost at $1. Not bad. How low did we go there? 75 cents. All right. Yeah, that one's ready for a big bounce.
Yeah, here comes Bitcoin. So I want a close above 42,600. That's the goal right now. And yes, I am using my phone to look at these at this point in time. I'm going to keep you on the screen. 42.6. So far, the high is 43,372. So hopefully we don't show how old this video is by the time you put it up. These are pretty fresh.
Honestly, this looks fine to me. I saw a lot of people get quite disgruntled by that last pullback, but to me, it's not even a range play. That was just another higher low in the making.
It was short term. It was on a 4-hour chart anyway. So for that 4 hour, it was a bit weak, but I think we're looking right. What about altcoins that you're interested in at this point?
I'm always pretty boring on that front. You're probably the better person to reference in this case. For me, man, it's the same old. I hold Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then three of the other. Do you
not even leverage trade any of these altcoins? Like this? No,
fuck no. Oh, Jesus Christ, no. The problem with leverage trading a lot of them is that the liquidity with them is certainly not optimal. So a lot of the time, if I need to get out of a position, it's not an issue with getting into a position, but getting out of a position. Let's say, the worst case scenario happens and I need to market close that position. You just don't know where you're going to get filled on one of those things. Even Ethereum, I'd say Ethereum actually nowadays is okay. It wasn't the same case about a year ago.
But unless you're trading tens of millions of dollars in a position, I guess.
You can even get $1 million in Ethereum now, and it's like not a huge issue. Bitcoin's like definitely still the best.
When you do?
How many X? How much? Oh, my leverage size. I always trade cross leverage. So cross leverage just means that you leverage your whole equity of your account. But in terms of what it essentially adds up to, really not comfortable going anywhere above 5x leverage. I don't really think there's a need to. And just in general, again, I come from traditional markets where our high leverage for us was 4x, not 4x, but the number four times leverage. That's it. And if you went up to 4x leverage, you're kind of you're really living on the edge there, is what people would kind of think around you. They'd be like, holy shit, what the fuck is this guy up to right now? This does not, this does not look like it's going to, it doesn't look like it's going to end well, right? Yeah, your risk manager will call you up and be like, hey, dude, what the fuck's this? But I
love watching those videos on YouTube from just one-off guys who crash an entire company. I think there was that. The one I remember watching was a British guy, and I think he took down the oldest British bank.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that. After you guys have finished watching this podcast, it's really interesting to see what they did and what's going on in people's heads. It's almost always about some sort of power trip because they need to prove something to other people, or they have something fucked up in terms of their perspective on ego and whatever. But he basically just kept trading and took more capital from the bank, and they just kept giving it to him because he had a very good reputation at first,
right?
And of course it's in a bull market, and then it always comes in a downturn that they get absolutely ruined. So I think it closed the entire bank down.
Jesus Christ, man. That is so insane. It is kind of a it is kind of a dirty secret or not a dirty secret, it's just a dirty thing that, this sort of a business certainly does attract that sort of a personality type, the egotistical kind of person who, it's like, yeah, we're going to go out there, we're going to fucking win, we're going to take over. But in my experience, the guys who are most successful, both in professional venues and now in this sort of more informal venue, cryptocurrency land, the guys who are most successful are typically quite reserved, very reserved actually. Maybe not loud, not quite.
Up.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't get your emotions up. They just go and do behind the scenes, and that's it.
They're not like yelling and shit. The guys who were yelling when I was working on a professional venue, those were brokers. They're not trading. They're just trying to get things executed as fast as possible. So I think that's like a big misnomer that a lot of people have. But for the most part, the successful traders that I know, usually quite calm, and they're kind of like in the same way that I look at bodybuilders, because you always think that bodybuilders are going to be like mean and rude and disrespectful, but all the bodybuilders that I've ever met, they're usually like the most chilled out people, and like fighters as well. I think I've kind of noticed this with like the guys who are really into MMA, for example. They always seem to be quite chilled out. Same thing with what I've seen on a lot of successful traders.
Because your head's focused in another space. Calm, you're just focusing on shit rather than sort of getting swept up in the emotion. The emotion thing is really like an amateur game. And that's why when you see it with the fighters or something like that, when they get swept up in the emotional game, then they lose.
Right.
Because they're just not following their plan.
Right. So well, anytime that you're in an emotional headspace, you're blocked off from being in a logical headspace. So, when you're obviously doing some more
place for both.
Right.
Because now that people get so crazy into the scientific bloody mathematical headspace, and that's all they can think of. They don't have any.
Right. Yeah, I see that too. Yeah, those guys typically don't do all that well either. It's always a give and take of both, right? But
agreed.
But yeah, it's just, it's the answer is always in the middle there. Like I've never found the extremes for those sorts of things to produce much of anything actually. Come to think of it, but yeah, at a lower. Yeah, go ahead.
Speaking of extremes, to cut you off there, we got an extreme on inflation. I know it's a beautiful segue there. But we were talking about inflation earlier, and I know it's a big topic. What are you seeing? I wanted to bring it back down to the level of what's going on day to day. I love food. Do you guys love food? Let us know in the comments what food you love most. And just things like that. Like, what are you seeing that is costing more very quickly in your area?
I'd actually be very interested to hear that. I'd be very interested to hear that.
We were talking about pineapples before this. I don't know why you're buying a pineapple every day.
Dude, pineapples are amazing. They're incredible. Pineapples, watermelons, kiwis. Holy shit, dude. I've been eating the ever-loving fuck out of those things like all the last month. It's incredible, actually. But I have noticed that in the local supermarket for like my meat stuff, they've all gone up about 20% overnight, actually. So my steaks cost a little bit more now, but
what's the steak cost over there? A good steak, a Scotch fillet or something like that.
Oh, dude, if you buy it like straight from the supermarket, probably going to be at least 30-ish euros, let's say, for a kilo.
A kilo.
Oh,
it's about the same here.
Yeah. So I like it could be worse, obviously, but you kind of have to expect that things are going to get probably worse before they get better here, especially. Sorry, if you're wondering why I'm looking onto the other side of my screen, is because I'm putting up a video right now, which is being quite a pain in the bunghole for scheduling, but there we go. Nice. Very happy about that. And
it's another big headline. What to expect next in Bitcoin.
What to expect today for the price. Today for the price. There you go. Dude, with my titles, man, I've been so lackadaisical with them, especially in this past month when things are rather slow as well. Like I'll just put up a title like clickbait title goes here. Right. Yeah. It's like, all right, there you go, man. It's like, no one's watching anyways. So there, there's no need to like fucking drill it into people. I'm sure that they don't appreciate that anyways. Like, I was going on to Crypto's channel the other day. Just perusing around again. I consider Chris a friend. He's a good person, but I look at his YouTube titles and like all throughout the past month, they're like, they're all the same that I saw in the bull market or, in like the parabolic drives that we were seeing about a year ago. It's like, man, people, I would imagine probably get burnt out from that, man. It's, it's intense to think that there's like a groundbreaking thing every day, Just seems a little bit much.
I think you mean every 6 hours, isn't it?
Every 6 hours. Yeah, man. During the parabolic market like last year, those guys were posting multiple times a day, and man, it was just you have to appreciate that they do have definitely a work ethic, I guess. Definitely a work ethic. But fair enough,
we
fair
can
enough.
find a positive out of everything. But yeah, just for people who are listening, let's say like the last few videos, Bitcoin breaking news, exclamation, times, call it times 15. Bitcoin siren light, get ready now, exclamation times 15.
I'm ready.
Bitcoin emergency video, exclamation times 15. Bitcoin last warning, exclamation times 15. Bitcoin right now. You get the idea. This will shock the world. That's a different one. Life-changing Bitcoin video, biggest move ever. Yeah, it's crazy. It's just like on rinse and repeat, isn't it?
Yeah,
but
and it's not that they
70 or 80,000 views a video.
Yes, I mean that's great. Great for him. But the thing is that not only is he recycling those titles, which I do as well, but all of his friend group, they all use the same titles too. So it's just like it's like a cartel or something.
And he's the most entertaining one. I think that's what I've learned from it. Yeah, we talk about these guys a lot. We are like,
dude, I'm just jealous. Fans. I'm just fucking jealous is what it is, man. Well, look, I mean, look at their content and look at their, look at their subscriber base and look at their view base, man. These guys are, they truly are pulling in, everything. I mean, and at some point, the content creation is going to be winner take all, right? So at some point, they're probably just going to take everything, right? I mean, that's where things are headed.
You think that to go in that content creation game, it's just about produce as much as you can at an average quality. I mean, I wouldn't consider this fantastic quality. It's literally just off a fucking iPhone.
You can make the assessment yourself if you're watching this, of course.
Yeah, everyone can make an assessment. Just make that and do as much as you can and just push people to these wherever they're going. Bybit, Femex, whatever it is.
Yeah, I suppose that's kind of the game, but they get the marketing part down. So I mean that's really what matters most at the end of the day. If you want to make it on YouTube, I suppose. I still try to keep my own self balanced because it's like, okay, YouTube is not my main thing. It's a big thing. I definitely like it. But it's also not my main thing. So I try to kind of keep myself balanced in that regard. It's like, I don't need to ride or die on this. So I don't need to do the same things. That's how I try to reason about it. But, if I was thinking in terms of just, I want to be the best YouTuber, for example, oh man, no, so far behind at this point that it's just, it ain't going to happen. Those guys are so.
That's interesting. What do you think? What you just do what you do because you love it? Because
man.
I would put myself in the same boat. Like we're so far behind, quote unquote, to your, what coin bureaus at 2 million now.
Oh
like,
man.
It's not like a game.
They're in a different world at this point. Yeah,
it's different. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess some people consider it the same to them, regardless. 200,000 or 2 million. Obviously there's a lot different,
right?
But you're still one of the bigger ones, I guess. Not to big note it, but
yeah.
What's the game from this point?
Yeah, well, for me, man, I spent a lot of time thinking about this. So one, obviously there are finances involved, even if I'm not like the biggest channel or even among the biggest channels, it's actually YouTube's turn to be a decent source of revenue now, which is like, oh, this is cool. I'm not, I always think it's funny, man, because people will disparage, others. It's like, they're not a trader because they're doing YouTube. It's like, well, having multiple sources of income seems like a rather reasonable thing to me. I mean, if you haven't seen how this game goes, but at the same time, I also learn a lot myself from doing it. So I know that when I first came into the space, I was a successful trader, but I was not as good as I am now. And the reason why I was able to get better is, well, when I was explaining these ideas to people, through YouTube, I'd have to kind of reiterate these things in my own mind. And when I was doing that, a lot of the ideas that I held priorly, I started to, think about on a deeper level. I'm like, this actually does not make sense and this does not work. And I should not be doing this. And that was it was, it obviously sucked, but at the same time, it's very helpful to myself as long as I could be honest with myself. So in that way, I think it's helped my actual trading quite a fair bit. And then also, obviously the finances alongside of it. So again, it's like kind of a selfish but altruistic endeavor in the sense that, people hopefully are getting at least something from it if they are tuning in. So it does make me kind of feel like, oh, I've done something, or at least it's not that I've done something good. That's for someone else to decide, but I've had the intent to go out there and put myself out there and do something that is hopefully providing value to others. And that's how I can kind of look back at myself and be like, okay, I feel fulfilled within that day. That was a good day. It was worth it. I'm happy that I did that. It makes my day more valuable to myself and hopefully to others. That's where I want to be, because that's very sustainable long term. And I never feel like I'm going to really burn out from that. And, in the most simplistic sense, I just don't have anything better to do. And I really fucking enjoy it. so there's that as well, man. It's fun. It's fucking fun, man. And you get to play that daily game, basically, because we're making daily videos, right? And I get to play that daily game. It's a bit egotistical, I guess, but it's like, okay, is this analysis going to be correct or not? And, I like to judge myself on that because it does keep myself honest, and not always going to be perfect, obviously. But if I can judge myself on the pivots and the, the critical points that I make, that I can be very consistent with. And that's what I like to judge myself on, especially nowadays too. So, yeah, man, that's kind of the motivation for myself, I suppose. A lot of different angles on that one. But what about, I'm guessing you have your own explanations as well.
Yeah, I would say pretty similar when it comes to that daily game. Yeah. And it has also improved my own trading because I've had to do it every single day. So it's almost like a trading journal. And then you realize, okay, then if I can put the spin on it of marketing, the YouTube game, then you're sort of getting both there. You're getting income from YouTube and you're trading as well.
Right.
And I reckon it's the smartest way to do. Like that's what finance is about. Or if you're going for investing, you're going for multiple streams of income.
Right.
If you have the opportunity to make multiple streams of income, living by your morals and whatever else, your standards and etc., why wouldn't you?
You'd kind of be silly not to as well. I mean,
and trading isn't consistent. This is sort of like balances out the inconsistencies of trading. I do remember watching another guy as well. People would hate on him for making money from his YouTube channel, and he's like, I openly talk about making money from YouTube, but he's also a good trader. I've seen him trade, and I know, I know a friend who knows him, lives with him in Bali and stuff, and he trades. But it's like it openly says it's like trading is inconsistent. Therefore, if you can make other streams of income, teach other people how to trade. It's possible to do, but it's inconsistent. It's not a job where you're going to make $1,000 a week every week.
Right.
You can try. There are other ways to do it, but making multiple streams of income is exactly what you should be doing. You don't ever want to leave yourself in a vulnerable position where you can just be all in and then all gone. So
right. Yeah, I mean that's it's a weird thing because it's almost like demonized in kind of like the dark internet corners a lot of the time, where it's like you're a bad person for making money essentially. And I've really spent a lot of time thinking about that because I too thought that way, even up until maybe the last few years. It's a really terrible mindset to have though, because if you basically have that connotation with money making, do you think you're going to be the person who can accumulate wealth or money or whatever, and then also two, keep it as well, because your own internal processes are like fighting it. You're like, oh shit, I'm doing something bad. It's like, wait, why is this bad? It's bad if you do bad things with it. It's bad if you take that money and then, I don't know, go use it to buy like fucking chloroform and ropes and shit to rape people, whatever. Like, obviously that's a very extreme example, but it's like terrible example.
You had to use that example.
But obviously, there are variations in that. And just to even take it one step further, it's like, look, in life, one of the biggest shifts in mentality that I've had, especially coming in from a Western upbringing, going from young age to kind of older age, that kind of flip is where I realized that, hey, in this life, you're going to have to do something. You can't just sit there not doing anything. So if you're going to have to do something on a daily basis, you're going to be like that fucking Sisyphus guy pushing the goddamn rock up the hill just to do it over again. You might as well do something that you enjoy, and you might as well do it consistently, because the second that you stop doing things, the second when you start to, quote unquote, lose your purpose, that's actually a lot of the time when people start to die. In fact, in terms of retirement, when people retire, or especially when guys retire, it's quite well understood that, you know, soonish after that, a lot of the time they, you know, they pass away because they don't really have that sort of, you know, fulfillment coming in on a daily basis. And I guess they just kind of feel that they don't really have a, you know, a reason to be, I suppose. Kind of sad, but at the same time, it makes sense. And that, you go ahead.
I hear totally. I was thinking that this podcast, I remember a couple of comments, people saying, you know, it's just like a therapy session. But when you think about it,
yeah, a little bit
in terms of investing, cryptocurrency, your life, like there are those things there. You can only give so much alpha, I think, when it comes to trading. Like obviously you can give us fucking shit ton of alpha, but the real gains are made when you can adjust your mindset to life. And I'm still doing that constantly. Like I feel like the market, like I had been in the market so long, and I was getting to another point as well, talking about purpose and life and children, if you want to go there. But where was I going with that? Oh yeah, the gains, say in my own portfolio, and then just how life flipped so quickly from 2020 to 2021. My life just like skyrocketed. But I had been going through the hard times of 2018, 2019, early 2020, so it was like 2.5 years, basically like, you know, having the belief, but then also watching the chart and be like, there's something going on here that I think will pay off in the long term. And you just have that belief, knowing that everything is still in check, it's still going, and then all of a sudden it changes. So getting back to that thing about crypto and investing, the main alpha, the main gains are when you can change like how you think about things and then put into practice new methods of doing something and just continuing it over and over again and just improving on it. So I find that as something to do with purpose. The other thing to do with purpose, I think, is, you know, like for me anyway, maybe your mindset's different, and I'd love to hear it if you're willing to talk about it. Purpose, obviously, when we've got crypto, we got you know, our businesses that we love to work on, and it's helping people. We get that. We see the messages. It's fantastic. Like that's why you start doing this thing, and that's how I've done it for so long. But then I also have family as well. It's such, people who have kids will know now as well. It's just like it changes who I am, what I do, why I do certain things, and I'm even seeing my time has been like, I'd rather not spend it with certain people because that's taking away from either me working on my business, which I love, and doing my trading, talking with you, doing those sort of things, or spending it with my family. So they're not bad people, but sometimes I just don't want to spend time with certain friends who you know who are here one day, not gone the next, and they want to come back. So my long roundabout question here is, what do you feel like is your purpose with kids, without kids? Do you talk about that with your viewers?
No, I haven't really spoken about too much with it, simply because, well, Elsa she's not very interested in having kids. And I know that, you know, for me, maybe in like 10 years or something, and maybe for her in 10 years as well. But certainly not right now. I don't think that I could handle it right now. I also don't think that it would work with my current schedule. I understand that obviously raising another human being is like a really important and like difficult thing to do. So I feel like if I were going to do that, I'd really want to be fully focused on that. And right now, I want to be fully focused on this. Not have a job or anything like that. Yeah, almost in that sense. Yeah, because I mean, raising a kid, like you're responsible for another human's life, and that seems like it's a great responsibility. I think a lot of people, you know, take that responsibility without really thinking about it too much. But for myself, I would feel so bad because you know, just one little thing can really fuck up that kid, maybe even for life. And I know myself, especially at this age, you know, I can still get fiery sometimes. You know, I can still snap a bit sometimes. And especially if I was. Do you think
that'll ever go away in you? Do you think you're just going to become completely Zen yogi and never snap?
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's like, does that ever go away? Probably not. But I think the realm in which it's coming from. So like right now, let's say I was trying to make a trade, or I was doing a video or something like that, and like a little kid came up to me and was like, "Hey, can you play with me?" I'm like, no, fuck off right now. I'm fucking busy. I know I'm already that way, because I know that even when my own friends or else or heard friends when I'm like working on my own thing, and they even ask me a question, which is just a completely okay thing to ask. I'll be like, God damn it, not right now. Like, not right now. I'm busy with this.
But you're at work.
Right.
And you're enjoying what you do. And it's the problem that I guess maybe your work area is not positioned in the right place to avoid those sorts of interruptions.
It could be, yeah. I mean, it could be.
But yeah, I guess you set up in the living room there?
Yeah, here I'm actually this is only a 1-bedroom apartment. So when we move into our new place, I'll have like the own room and everything. This is just like it's like a really big open area. So technically it could probably, work as like a 2-bedroom apartment. It's just there's no wall. So yeah, it's kind of like in where everything else is. And, it works for us right now. But definitely looking forward to having a bigger and more like optimized space in the new place. But at the same time, I love this place as well. I mean, it's a great place. It's a nice little penthouse at the top of the building and got our own balcony and everything. And things are like, things are quite nice. So I'm very, very happy with that. I always want to be grateful with it as well. But going back to your statement earlier, you kind of were touching on something that I wanted to expand upon a little bit, in the sense that playing the game daily of this like small gain, that's where I found the most fulfillment in life. And obviously I'm applying it to my trading. I'm applying it to the videos that I make as well. But just thinking in terms of like, if I can just do 1% better at this one thing today than I did yesterday, that is a gain. And that is an achievement in the way that I look at things. And that is worthwhile. And that makes me feel like the day was productive. Because if you can do that every day, in a year, things really start to change around quite a fair bit. And when I started to switch my thinking onto that, rather than trying,
is that productive? Yeah. Is that objective, or just as a feel when you feel like it's,
so some of the things are more difficult. Some of the things are more difficult to measure. Obviously, it's like, how do I judge if I made a better video, for example? I try not to judge myself too much on that, because I always do want to think of my YouTube as like a supplement to something that is more important to me, which is trading. For trading, obviously, the money that my account makes, that's going to, be the decider of that. When I go to the gym, it's, the weight of, that I'm carrying. I can measure that, obviously. For something as simple as like the steps that I take per day, because I like to get at least 10,000 steps, which, by the way, I was quite, I don't know if we spoke about this last week, but I was quite enlightened to learn out that you're not even considered like active by medical standards unless you get at least 10,000 steps a day. So I want to make sure that I get at least that, and then kind of build on that maybe every day as well in like a small way, perhaps.
To use to count that?
Just my phone, man. It's I don't know if it's like super accurate, but it seems to be accurate enough to where, like, if I do the same thing in a day, it'll give me about the same number as well. So
I need to find something else. I'm thinking one of these rings or a fucking Fitbit thing or whatever.
I just don't want to have another one of those fucking things on me, man.
Yeah, I know, but I walk on the beach all the time, and I
right
take
on.
my phone with me. It's like the time I'm tuned out, because I don't want to. I just don't want it next to me.
Right. Yeah. And then just having like the checklist of, things that need to be done in a day that I feel will make my next day better. If I do that, my day's fulfilled. I feel like that in its package will compound upon itself for a much better, like not just a 1% better day the next day, but like a 10% or, much better next year. It compounds itself. So that sort of like little ripple effect I like to think a lot about, because it works in both ways. It's like, if you're not moving forwards, you're actually not just staying stationary, you're actually moving backwards in a lot of ways as well. There is no real stationary. So to me, it's like, I always want to feel like I'm on that path forwards, and then readjust as things go on, because obviously you're not going to be perfect with it. I mean, when you first start, obviously you're going to be all over the fucking place, but
it's like setting out your goals, because that's what I do, is like 5 years or 10 years or something.
Right.
But you just have to know that you don't always work towards that specific goal. It has to, things have to move and sway and bend, and to get to that point.
Yeah. And you're going to naturally refocus as you get closer there too, because you're going to get smarter as you get closer there, most likely. True. You're not going to be the same person. So I like to think in terms of that. Otherwise, one, it gets overwhelming if you try to if you try to do too much at once. And then number two, it's just, I just feel like that's the most sustainable, at least for myself. So I don't know if other people out there feel the same way. I don't know if you feel the same way, but I've just found that that's like really helpful. Kind of adopting those sort of mentalities in my younger adult life that have only gotten better with time. And
that helps you feel like you remain on your purpose.
Yes, exactly. And your purpose can obviously change over time as well. I mean, it's always not going to be the same thing. So before, your purpose can also be very, very simple as well. Like when I was not in a very good financial situation, it was all about make more money, and my way to do that in a day, on a daily basis, was to make good trades. So everything was focused upon that. It's less so in that regard now, and I try to also prioritize. Hey, I want to make sure that I'm also like learning to relax, because that was kind of a big thing for myself a few years ago, or a couple of years ago. It's yeah,
holidays.
like just
are we taking holidays this year?
Fuck yeah, we are. But I need to get my damn residence permit first, and then we can go travel. But it shouldn't be more than like another month or so. I think things are kind of like backed up here. But yeah, man, stuff like that.
Thailand this year?
I'm sure there's a lot of people from Thailand who are maybe tuning into this. I know that there's a shit ton of expats on this channel. Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. So it'd be actually amazing to meet up with those people. And obviously meet up with you as well.
Which city or island that you live on, if you're an expat in Thailand or can make it to Thailand or anything like that. Maybe very small chance we make something happen over there. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be cool, man. But that truly is valuable. And I've started to refocus, my own purpose to incorporate those sort of experiences, because I know that one, they are regenerative, they do help you, but also it's very nice to be able to, look back at those experiences and be like, yeah, I did do that. And that was amazing. I really enjoyed it while I was there. And I also got something from it as well. Not only was it restful and regenerative, but I learned something being in a new culture, being in a new place. Those sorts of things are really, I think, important. And probably one of the best things that I did when I was in my young 20s was just go and travel Europe, like with a fucking backpack, just to kind of put myself in different places, get myself out of my, comfort zone in my city. I was living in Chicago at the time. And just go experience something different, because when you do that, you notice that you are the one constant in a shifting dynamic environment many, many times. And that helps kind of center yourself, which I think is really, really important at a young age, because we're just not really like that. I think a lot of the time we're very much reliant on our friend group, on the people around us, which is okay. But kind of that sort of maturing process is getting out of that and being comfortable with getting out of that, because you don't always have to be like reliant on your fucking college or high school friends, hanging out to do whatever. You want to grow out of that at some point, most likely, I would think, and kind of become your own person. And I think traveling around really, really helped with that. So yeah,
helps you find yourself, as they say.
Oh God, that old cliche. It is true though. It is true, and I would have to agree with it. But you have to kind of go out on your own. You can't go with your fucking parents or something. Like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they have the money though. Not mine.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I see a lot of people do. It's like, no, man, I don't think that's it. I don't think that's it. Like Jesus Christ. Yeah. I remember one of my friends. He tried his own little like sabbatical, going off to Europe with another friend, and I don't know, just at some point he started to not like it, or he just he didn't have his usual comfort, so he just calls up his mom. Hey mom, I need a plane ticket back home. It's like, dude, that's not it, man. I don't think that's it.
Yeah, probably that your mom will do that in his life.
Yeah. But that's not it, man.
Fucking simp I was.
Yeah, no, you don't want to be that person. You want to be comfortable.
Simps in Thailand. We're going to find ourselves.
Simps in Thailand, man. Dude, that'll be fun, man. That'll be a completely different experience for myself. I haven't been to Asia ever, at least that I know of. Yeah, and Thailand, I would imagine.
Bali belly.
Okay. Sounds quite interesting, man.
You get sick from the water over there. That's
okay. Part, yeah. So you can't trust the tap water, I'm guessing?
No, you don't drink the tap water.
Okay.
Anywhere.
Okay.
I think maybe only Singapore, probably South Korea.
Yeah.
I don't know if Taiwan is part of that. maybe Japan. Like, you know, they're a bit more developed, but
right.
obviously a lot more developed. I went to Singapore. I'm pretty sure the tap water was fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't drink the tap water in Vietnam, Thailand, obviously Cambodia, all that shit. Indonesia, no.
Jesus.
Bottled water all the way. So that would be pretty good. Have you looked up any places? Like anything that's
Dude, I've looked at some places just like perusing the internet, but the problem is I don't know, you know, there's so many areas to go to, man. I don't know what's like, you know, where's the area to go to?
What about Elsa? What is she? Has she looked at any of them?
So we're not going to tell her where we're going because she's going to love whatever pictures that she sees. But I don't know if she'll like, dude, if she sees a fucking bug, she might start crying. So I don't know. I don't know if things will work that way there, but yeah, man.
She's not going overseas.
She'll definitely want to go. I mean, once she sees like the place and she sees, oh, it's like out in this nice tropical rainforest and we got the beach right there, she's gonna fucking love that. She absolutely fucking loves that. But if there's like little creatures crawling into our bed at night, then it could be, she's probably gonna be like, what the fuck?
It's 100% going to be little fucking bugs.
Yeah, I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. You know,
yeah.
Right. So, and that's just the way that things are there, man. People, you know,
she watches this though, right?
She will watch these a day afterwards, and she'll just pick out like the smallest thing that I or you said and be like, "Hey, what was this?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" That's like a very flippant comment.
What was the latest thing that she picked up?
I think I said something along the lines of like, I am moving into a new house at the end of this year. And then she's like, what do you mean? We are. It's like, yeah,
you were going
obviously.
Elsa might come.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. But, you know, of course, you know, she's going to end up loving it anyways. Like when we went to Dubai, for example, the first day I swam in the sea there. I think it's like the Arabian Sea, whatever the fuck it is. It's a nice sea. It's really, really nice. Anyways, I go and swim in there, and then like she kind of comes out and she gets hit by the waves, and the waves knock her over. And so she like does a backwards somersault, and she's like, she gets really scared after that. She's like, no, I don't like it. I don't want to go in. I'm like, no, come on. It's okay. Like, it's really, really fun if you start swimming in there. And then I got her to come back out. And once she actually did it, she like, I couldn't get her out of the fucking sea after that point. It was fucking annoying for me. I wanted to go, you know, home, dry off and eat, but she'd just be she'd be swimming in there longer than me. So
a little bit to warm up.
Yeah, exactly. So you just got to get her in there first, and then, you know, she'll be like, oh, the bugs, they ain't so bad. You know, it's like, whatever. They're not going to fucking kill you, man.
It's the Persian Gulf on that side. I was thinking Red Sea. The Red Sea is the other side of Saudi Arabia that borders with Africa. Just so I remember, I love my geography. But they have waves. no way they have waves. No.
Yeah, there's waves there. It might be man-made though. I mean, everything is man-made there, so would be surprised.
Maybe in the sea. I know they have like wave pools, but yeah, not surfing
it ain't a
waves,
pool.
I guess. Yeah.
No, I don't think you could surf there, but they're big enough to go and swim in and, you know, have a bit of fun. So
that's good.
It's no problem. Yeah, there ain't no sharks or anything in there too, so it's quite safe.
Probably
no issues there. Yeah, definitely too warm, man. It's like fucking 30 degrees in the water there. It's just insane, man.
Not even refreshing.
In February. Like what the hell?
Well, I mean, that makes sense for me, but yeah, I guess that's winter over there.
Oh, right on. Yeah. You don't understand what it's like being on the right side of the hemisphere.
Having a cold Christmas, it does not make sense.
Oh, Jesus, dude. How could you not have Christmas without snow? Must be so strange.
The beach and fucking palm trees, nice and hot. It's just like fucking humid as hell.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of Asian countries, man, did you see that Myanmar is proposing making Bitcoin legal tender?
Don't try and turn this back to crypto. What are you doing? We are long gone from talking about crypto at this point in the chat.
I didn't just kind of cross my mind, seeing as we're on the Asian segment now, but
we're talking about holidays and crypto meetups and all this sort of shit. But no, I didn't see that at all. I don't think, you know, leave a like if you have an interest in what Myanmar does with its cryptocurrency,
or if you are aware of where it is, because I'm actually not. I actually have no idea.
Myanmar used to be called, was it Burma? That's yeah, that was the old name, Burma, and they changed the name to Myanmar.
Yeah.
I don't know how it happened, why it happened, what sort of stuff. I just remember. Anyway.
So what sort of cultural shocks would we expect if we've never been to Thailand, for example, that we should prepare for?
Oh, shit. Now you put me on the spot. I've been so many times. I don't know, fucking a dozen times or so, maybe a little less. But I've lived there like 3 months on, 3 months off, 3 months on. So I'm trying to think back to the shocks when I first went.
Okay, the one thing that I always hear from people who go there is they say the people are the Thai people are so unbelievably nice and happy all the time that it's kind of strange.
It's kind of annoying because it would be when you just want to get a real answer, it's just like yes. You're like, no, I need
can I have a taxi?
Like, bad or good, like is it this way or not? It's like yes, yes, it's just very in that positive. So that can be annoying, but it's not like a cultural shock where it's just like fuck, they do that to the people or they do that to the animals or something like that.
So they don't like wash their hands with piss or anything.
No. You'll have to go somewhere else for your fetishes.
Yeah, that would be no, I've actually studied this, and India is a great place for that, man. They love the fucking pee-pee, man. They love the pee-pee and the cows like a lot in certain places. Don't want to offend anyone, but I just saw a video, man, of this taxi driver. He just jumps out of his taxi and pisses on his hands and rubs it in and just goes about his day after that. I've been very, I guess so, man. Just run some water through it and off you go into your taxi. Yeah.
All right. Anything else cultural about Thailand? Anything else that worries you? What are you scared of?
I think the one thing for me is like food quality and just kind of like getting sick, stuff like that.
Oh, you'll probably get sick. You'll probably get sick if it's your first time in Asia. Yeah.
Yeah. So just prepare for it.
Yeah, I'd say you would. Stomach.
So what is it, like a food poisoning? Does it just run right through you, or do you get like a flu?
No, it's usually like that sort of sick. For me, it was like a lot of diarrhea. This is a great conversation. But yeah, it would be, your stomach's upset from whatever's in the water or the food. So you have to get used to the bugs, and then your body produces that, and then away you go. You're pretty upset. Because I remember the next few times I went after that, I always just forget to use bottled water to brush my teeth. So I was just using the water out of the tap. You can get a little bit on you.
Oh, really? Okay. So
then I was drinking a reasonable amount over the course of a few days, and I remembered, shit, I shouldn't be drinking the water. But I'm like, oh, it doesn't affect me anymore. So,
okay.
I don't know.
What about like showering? Is that like an issue there?
Fine.
Okay.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Some things you might not get in. No, you'll be going to expensive places now that you make the crypto riches. But when I first went, you'd go to the cheaper places, and of course they don't have. There's no hot water in them. It's just typical water. So that's something like from Europe, especially when you're freezing there, you'd just naturally want to turn hot water on, but there you don't have the hot water.
Is the temperature like, is it always kind of hot there, or I have it in my mind that it's like a tropical place, so it's always rather hot, I guess, like 30 plus.
You could probably go, I don't know, I'm just choosing big towns. Bangkok south, it doesn't matter what time of year, it's going to be hot. You just have wet season and dry season, and then Bangkok north.
And what does wet season look like? What the fuck is that?
Rain.
Rain. Okay, so rain. Is it like hot rain?
You're not going to freeze. No way. It's just a lot of rain. It's usually afternoons. I remember it was.
I see.
Afternoons, big storms, because you get like a lot of humidity during the day. It builds up the pressure. Bang. Get rain all afternoon, and then you're good to go again. It just keeps repeating all summer.
And what's like the vibe in Bangkok, for example, like the big city there?
It's one of the most fun cities to go to. Bangkok.
Fun. Okay, like fun, just nightlife or just walking around.
Nightlife, food, shops, anything you want. There's like something cultural going on all the time. It's busy. Most people are pretty friendly for such a big city. I don't remember how many they had. 5-10 million. I don't know. I'm making up a number here, but it's millions in that city. Yeah,
big city.
Millions. Yeah. It's a big city. Yeah.
And does everyone kind of speak English, or?
Not really. You can get
Not
by.
really.
They
Okay.
speak enough English that you can do what you need to do.
Gotcha.
You know,
Okay.
if you're doing
But you're not going to like
taxis
have a deep
or veg
conversation.
shops. No.
Okay.
No, not my experience anyway. But
Okay.
you know, it could change over the years.
So
You know, more people are learning English.
you're just going to get kind of like, yes, back. As you said earlier.
Howdy, cow. Cool cow. As the ladies, they just says, yes, thank you.
All right, well, fair enough, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope whoever can make it over, if we can get there in the end, we'll give you a week to get over your stomach viruses.
Yeah,
and you know, some other time to resettle, and then we can have some food, drinks, all sorts of water sports if we go in the islands at the south.
Oh, sweet. All right.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Yeah. Dude, that sounds amazing, actually. That sounds absolutely amazing.
Let's look up some hotels after this, Mr. Krown.
Yeah, hell yeah. Alrighty. You want to wrap it up there?
It's a beautiful spot. It's a nice.
That's a beautiful spot. All right, nice. Yeah. We had some positive messages of the day. We've had some travel talk. We even spoke a little bit about Bitcoin and price action. It's been a good video, man. It's been a good video for number 18.
Number 18. See you next week for 19. Links are in the description, as always.
All righty, fellas. Take care and see you next week.